Immediately, Curry made a name for himself, earning co-MVP honors of the cross-country team and helped lead the squad to an 11-3 record with key wins over Avon, Millbrook, and Wilbraham. In the winter, Jason was named the starting varsity point guard and led the team to a New England Prep School Final Four before losing to eventual champion Maine Central Institute in the Cats' first year competing in the Class A NEPSAC Conference. Jason graduated from Cheshire Academy with honors and went on to be a 4-year starting point guard at St. Michael's College in Vermont. He graduated as the program's all-time career assist leader, racking up 514 of them in 107 games, and was twice named All-State First Team. As a junior, he ranked number 9 nationally in three-point field goal percentage, number 15 nationally in free throw percentage, and was the Northeast 10 Conference top percentage man in both categories. He also finished his career ranked in the top in several other categories in St. Michael's college history, including first in career free throw percentage, 82%, first in career assists per game, 4.9, first in total career assists with 514, second in career three-point percentage, and third in career steals. After graduating with a degree in journalism, Curry began a career in broadcasting. He has worked as a color basketball commentator, television analyst, and sideline reporter, most recently as a television analyst for the Westchester Knicks in 2017. In 2009, Jason founded Big Apple Basketball with a mission to assist young people in their athletic, educational, professional, and life skill development, while providing family and community-focused programs and events. Big Apple Basketball seeks to strengthen communities and support youth in a way that enables them to pursue and fulfill their life dreams. In Jason's words, Big Apple Basketball paves the way by helping student athletes become active and productive citizens within the community and beyond. Jason is responsible for all aspects of Big Apple Basketball's daily operations and has created and implemented all Big Apple basketball programs, including the High School Challenge, High School Invitational, Scholarship Games, Shooting Challenge, Academic Eligibility Seminar, Basketball Training, and Mentoring Program. In the last month, Jason was named the 2019 Junior NBA Coach of the Year, representing the New York Knicks. The award was presented by Dallas Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle, former Knicks player Allen Houston, and ESPN announcer Fran Fraschilla. The field began with 31 nominees, all representing NBA and WNBA teams. The coaches demonstrated outstanding integrity, character, and leadership. Jason, we are honored to induct you into this year's Hall of Fame class. Presenting the award to Jason is his former Cheshire Academy basketball coach and great friend, Bill Casson. Congrats again to Jason Curry, class of 1991.
Thank you so much for attending. This truly means a lot to me. I first and foremost would like to just give God all of the glory for all of the blessings that he's bestowed in me throughout my life, which has enabled me to get to this point. And also, I'd like to thank a gentleman by the name of Vincent Smith, who's not here today. A lot of you might know him as Kenny Smith's older brother. And he was one of my local youth coaches growing up in Queens, New York. And I'll never forget the day I walked in the gym and he actually had an application for Cheshire Academy, which spearheaded everything and ultimately led to me being enrolled into this great school and great opportunity, which I was thankfully able to take advantage of. My family, my former teammates, of course, Mr. Cass and Mr. Ski, None of my experience here at Cheshire Academy would have been the same without you. So there are two things that I'd like to share, which one is just a story which to me just kind of brings everything full circle, and how dynamic it is for me to even be here accepting this award. Just quickly, by show of hands, how many of you were here going back to 1983? Is anybody here who was back to 1983? One person, okay. Oh, 2, 3, 4, okay, so about a handful of people. Oh, and everybody was here in 83. Okay, all right. So I didn't realize it at the time, but after I graduated from college, my mother saves every picture I've ever taken in her scrapbook. And I was going through some old pictures, one of which you probably can't see here. But as I'm looking at this picture, the picture just looked eerily familiar. And I realized that I first stepped foot on this campus of Cheshire Academy at 1983 for a basketball camp, and it was called the Hall of Fame Basketball Camp. And I actually have a picture of me as a little kid standing right here in front of the gym. So never did I ever imagine that I'd ever attend school here, but you think about something, in terms of destiny, to be a little kid here and have a picture being a youth attending basketball camp, ultimately becoming a student, and now here it is. Now I'm accepting a Hall of Fame award. But the one thing that really stands out to me in terms of my time here at Cheshire, which just made it so dramatic for me, and there were quite a few high schools left off of here, but I wound up attending 5 high schools in 5 years. And Cheshire was the 5th school that I attended. And just high school was just a very difficult time for me, especially academically. And during the course of that time, even wound up getting thrown out out of 2 of the schools, because I just wasn't able to maintain any type of academic focus or excellence. So by the time I got here to Cheshire, and I remember it was probably within the first 2 days that I was here, and we had an orientation, I remember laying out there on the grass and literally just looking up in the sky and just really thinking man, this is my last chance to get this right before I go to college. And I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I knew what I wanted to do. And then I remember the first night that we had study hall, and everybody sits in the dorm room and your doors are open, and every now and then the proctor walks up and down the hallway. And I just couldn't fathom how I was supposed to sit here at this desk for 2 hours and in my mind do nothing. And I remember study hall was from 8 to 10, and I remember 10 o'clock, Mr. Booth, gave everybody a cue, okay, it's 10 o'clock, everybody can come out your room, and you had from 10 to 10:20 to do whatever it is you needed to do before it was time to report back. And I knew what 7-Eleven was, and it was just okay, 10 o'clock. And I remember I darted out in the hallway, and I'm looking around, and I'm the only one in the hallway. And I'm okay, well, man, okay. So I walked down the hall, and I remember one of my teammates by the name of Ben Prentice was in his room. I'm like, Ben, you want to go to 7-Eleven? He's like, nah, man, I'm still doing homework. So I walked down the hall to my other teammate's room, BJ, and John Hoover. You guys want to go to 7-Eleven? No, we're still doing homework. And I began to realize, night in and night out, that even though it was 10 o'clock in my mind, study hall was over, I was really the only one that wasn't really disciplined enough to do homework. And I just kind of started feeling my way through the process and kind of watching what everybody else was doing. And I ultimately learned how to study. And I ultimately began to build up the discipline to study and the tolerance to study and the capacity to study. And then, the competitiveness to want to study and to want to be academically competitive, and the endurance to do it, to the point where by the time we got to Christmas break, we were getting ready to go on the trip to Montreal for the Sun Youth Basketball Classic. And I remember calling Mr. Casson, and I was nervous, but I called Mr. Casson to tell him that I couldn't make basketball practice because I had too much studying I wanted to do. And it just kind of brought everything, and it just showed me I couldn't believe, man, I'm calling my basketball coach to tell him I can't make practice because I have finals and I want to study. And then you fast forward to the day of graduation, where I believe graduation was right here. And I remember walking out and getting online for graduation and then passing out, like, I don't know what they're called. To me, they were like ropes, and everybody was getting these rope things to put around your neck. And I got a silver rope, and I put it on, and my mother was taking the pictures, and she came over to me, and she said, Jason, what's the rope thing around your neck? And I said, I don't know, Ma, but they said I graduated with honors. And she said, honors? And I said, yeah. And we literally both stood there and laughed at each other. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna walk out here with this rope. I don't know what the joke is or who I fooled, but I'm gonna go with it for the pictures. And then we sat here during the graduation, and they made a special announcement, and they gave me an award for the biggest academic turnaround for the people who were there that year, and I wound up graduating with second honors. And I say all that to say is that 1 year here was just so impactful for me in terms of just really changing the trajectory of my life by the time I got to college. And for most people, college is more difficult than high school. And for me, academically, college was just so much easier because I just had such a foundation and a base that I was able to grasp here at Cheshire Academy, and things that people have been trying to get me to do. But just this whole environment was just exactly what I needed at that time. And I tell people all the time, Cheshire Academy literally changed my life. So I thank you all for being here today. I thank everybody for the opportunity that I was given, and God bless you all. Thank you.